And a very good morning to you. Welcome to Tuesday's United Kingdom Talk here on United Kingdom Radio. My name's Chris Reardon. It's just gone 11 o'clock on Tuesday, the 10th of August 2010. I tell you that piece of information so you know whether this show is live or not. Have a look at your little clocks. And if you can see that, you will know that we are live with you. Live with you this morning on Tuesday morning, the 10th of August 2010. Very good news, boys and girls. My Barry Manilow tickets have arrived. Oh, yes, from the O2 Arena. Look at this. Oh, wonderful. 2 tickets to see Barry Manilow with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. Oh, God. Barry Manilow and the Royal Philharmonic Concert Orchestra on Friday the 6th of May 2011 at 8 o'clock. I am so excited. I can't wait, dear. Can we have the show earlier? So I thought, as we've got the Barry Manilow tickets here, and a couple of people have been requesting that I sing a song. So here we go. Are you ready, boys and girls? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Come on, sing the song. Are you a Barry Manilow fan? I've got the words in front of me on the screen, you see. That's it, yes. Not too much. I won't do all of it, okay? Just a bit. Are you ready? You wouldn't believe where I've been, the cities and towns I've been in, from Boston to Denver and everywhere in between. The people, they all look the same, only the names have been changed. But now that I'm home again, I'll tell you what I believe. It's a miracle, a true blue spectacle. A miracle is you. We're together, baby, I was going crazy. It's a miracle came through. That's enough, okay? We're not doing the whole song. You're disappointed now, aren't you? No, we are not doing... This is a chat show, not a singing show. Good morning to Travis. Good morning, Travis, he is the first message of the morning. We ought to give a little prize for the first message of the morning then. Perhaps a toaster. Or something like that. Small bottle of wine. You know, nothing too expensive. The sort of wine that you buy from the supermarket, and then a year later, if you haven't used it, you can use it as paint stripper. I think Travis, how old are you? Are you old enough to accept a bottle of wine? You may not be. He's got a little picture on his Skype in a bright pink T-shirt. I never seen anything like it in my life. Bright pink T-shirt it is. Now, there's a few ways to contact us. So there we are. My Barry Manilow tickets have arrived. Would you like to see one? Hang on a minute. Let me just check there's no credit card number. I don't want you having my credit card number and start ordering stuff off Amazon. 1 minute. Here we are. My Barry Manilow concert tickets. Look at that. Barry Manilow. Oh, I'm so pleased. And it all comes in a nice little folder from the O2, which is, of course, the Greenwich Dome. Okay, that's where the concert is being held. It's all very exciting. I've never been to the O2. Apparently, I was looking at this. Now, where is it now? Just a second now. Is it written on here? I thought I saw something else written on here. No. Oh, hang on. Well, it says that there's a cinema there, and there's restaurants, bars, and all that. So I suppose, really, even if you're not going to see a concert, are there things to do at the O2? Because it looks like it from here. Has anyone been to the O2 and done anything there? Do let us know. The ways to contact the show, first of all, whatever way you're listening or watching the show, you can use the email. If you're watching a recording on this show, then that's okay. You can join in by email. Doesn't matter that the show has been or gone, even if it was 200,000 years. Perhaps you're watching this in the future when I'm dead. Not that I intend to go anywhere very soon, okay? I will be around for at least the next 25,000 years. I've been booked to talk for every single minute of the next 25,000 years, okay? But if you want to watch, join in one of the old shows, send an email. My email address is Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, all right? Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. You can join in live if you want. If it's like 11:05 on Tuesday, the 10th of August 2010, then you are watching or listening to the show live. You can join in live by either adding us on Skype. If you've got Skype, you can add us on there. The Skype username is United Kingdom Radio, all one word, United Kingdom Radio. Or indeed by telephone. We have a local London number. The phone number is 020 3287 1488. All right, 020 3287 1488. Someone who's joined in already this morning. She's up bright and early. The lovely Vicky. Good morning, Vicky. By the way, I have finished the biscuits. You know all those biscuits? I have finished. Oh, it was wonderful. Thank you very much. There's some I wasn't keen on. I'm not a great fan of peanut butter. I know peanut butter is huge in the USA, isn't it? Yes, not a fan of peanut butter, but the rest of them were very nice. Thank you very much, Vicky. And Vicky writes this morning, "Good morning, Chris. I like it when you sing on the show. Do you think that should become a new feature? Perhaps I should open up the show with a song." I tell you what, let's have a little survey. And can I just get up here and turn my air conditioning on? Because it's a little bit warmer than I thought it was. 1 second now. Oh, yeah. I'm going to turn the air conditioning on. I thought it was a little bit cooler than it actually is in here. Right, can we have a survey, okay? We want sings and no sings. Okay, what do you think? Because I used to do this on a music and chat show. I was at another station who they just couldn't get the act together there, unfortunately. So I left. That's what I do that. Oh yes, if I'm really, really fed up with something, then I go. I can't be bothered anymore. You know, you try and try and try, and a lot of people find me very trying. To be honest, do you find me trying? You try and try and try, and if at the end of the day things are not working out, then you have to go. Good morning, a call in from Terry in Huntingdonshire. Good morning, Terry in Huntingdonshire. How are you?
Morning, Mr. Reardon. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I saw Huntingdon mentioned on a programme. Oh, that's it. Have you got a race course there?
We have.
Oh, I thought so, because there was this programme on Channel 4, and called it's either Channel 4 or Channel 5, called Undercover Boss. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard all about it.
Fantastic TV programme. Really very good. What happens is, like, the boss of an organisation disguises himself. I mean, I could do that. I'd probably disguise myself as a nun. I think I would actually I could do it now, actually. You know, simply by pulling up my T-shirts. Pulling up my... I've got a lovely green luminous shirt on today. And
yeah, I do like that. Where'd you get it from?
I am now looking like a nun, to be honest. I've even got my hands joined together so that I can pray to the Lord our God. Yes, I can. I would go in as a nun, I think, and that's what the undercover boss, the big boss of the organisation, like I don't know what you would call him. Is it the CEO? Is that the correct term?
I believe it is.
CEO. What he does is disguises him or herself, and they go down to the bottom levels and become the cleaner or the cook or the waiter, whatever. And they try and find out what makes the organisation tick and what doesn't. And it's a very, very good programme. And on last week's show, the bloke was in charge of the Jockey Club.
Oh.
Yes, and one of the places he visited was Huntingdon, and I was very surprised to find that the Huntingdon racecourse has not been updated for years, and there is no electronic scoreboard or I don't know what it's called, you know, where they have all the different rates of bets going up and all that. There's nothing like that. It's all manual.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like the scoreboard is like this big wooden hut. With stairs in it, and a bloke runs up and down the stairs with these signs and puts them in a hole. How funny is that? Anyway, we get off the subject. What are you calling in for? Terry Turner.
Well, I'd just like a general chat, but it was nice to know that we were featured on something for a decent reason. Usually we're featured for the animal rights protesters and stuff like that.
Oh, have you got something there then?
We've got it's the Huntingdon Life Sciences place.
Oh, right. Would I do the... I don't like that. I feel... I don't know what to say about that, really. I mean, you know... I don't like the idea at all of it doing any experiments whatsoever on animals. But it has to be said that probably most of us listening or watching this show at the moment have benefited from some sort of animal experimentation, whether it's some life-saving operation you've had, or simply the fact that you put shampoo in your hair and it doesn't sting your eyes because it's all been tested. You know, so I feel quite torn apart on that. I would probably be one of those protesters protesting against animal testing. But, you know, it's difficult to say anything. Has anything that's ever been done to me medically wise, has that been done because of some experiment that's gone on? So I feel quite torn apart about that. What about you?
I think it is difficult. I think reasonably recently there was that experiment where they had was it 4 or 5 different patients, and they all had different side effects, didn't they, of testing whatever this drug was?
Oh yes, that was about it must have been about 2 or 3 years ago now. I remember that. That was at a private clinic in London. Now, just in case anyone doesn't know this story, and they were students, or usually young people, because these private clinics they will put an ad in the paper and they offer to pay you money to test out drugs. Now, one of my friends, his name was Lee, over 10 years ago, he actually went along to one of these things, and they were testing out headache tablets. Okay. And he goes in there. First of all, they induce a headache by giving you an injection. And I said, what's the headache like? He says, one of the worst headaches I've ever had. And then you have to take the pills and see how they work with this headache. And for that, I think he went 6 times, either twice or 6 times, and had this done. And for that, he received £1,000. Now, it has to be said, when you get to that stage of human testing, everything else has been tried. They've tried the lot, you know, animals, machines, whatever. Everything's been tried. And the very last stage is testing on... What's that noise? What on earth? Are you flashing a chain somewhere, dear?
No, I'm afraid that's one of the local buses.
Are you speaking from public transport? We don't have people here speaking from public transport, if you don't mind, dear. That's for Ross Patzel's show. Thank you. Now, where was I? Yes. Yeah, so when you get to the stage of human testing, everything else has been tried, and that's the very last stage. Anyway, so that's what my friend did. Now, going back to the people 2 or 3 years ago, they were given these drugs for which they were paid a lot of money, you know, well, I say a lot, £1,000 I think is a lot of money. Presumably they would have got more than that because this is 10 years down the line, and it went horrendously wrong. And they were, you know, writhing on the floor and screaming blue murder. I do believe some of them lost their fingers and toes, is that right?
I think so, yes.
I'm sure. Did anyone die over? I don't think anyone died, did they? But nevertheless, they're now disabled for life. But I suppose, really, you know, if you're going to test stuff like this, you've got to be prepared for that. I mean, it's part of it, isn't it? Not that I'm saying... Was
it really worth the money? That's the thing.
Well, of course it wasn't. But you see, sometimes, you know, people, especially students, and they get so poor, they will do anything for money. You know, and it's a terrible, terrible thing.
I must admit... Oh, excuse me.
Go on, have another cough, dear.
I was going to say, no, a friend of mine, actually, just before he turned 16, he went on the internet and he got himself, he applied for a credit card. One company refused him, and he did several others. He actually, in the end, got 3 cards. And he was very, very, what's the word? Not sensible, the opposite of sensible.
Yeah.
But anyway, and completely maxed out on all 3 cards, and is now still... What we're now, nearly 8 years down the line, he's got a debt of just over £20,000 still to pay.
Oh, dear me.
I mean, how did kids get into that sort of state?
I don't know, because of course when I was young, if you went to college or there was none of this loan business. I don't know. I don't even know how it worked. I didn't go to. I think I did go to college for a few weeks. I didn't really like it. Didn't get on there at all because my school results weren't very good at all. But I mean, it's going back some years. But if you wanted to go to college or something, there was no student loans. It was just, I suppose, like going to school, really. I don't know where the money came from these things, really.
Well, today it's all the flash cars and the holidays, isn't it, I suppose?
I haven't got a flash card
Or
yet.
boots and the cigarettes.
Cigarettes and smoke, that's what it is. They're all smoking and drinking, dear. All smoking and drinking, Terry.
It's not good. I mean, I don't do it, and I still don't have enough money to live on, let alone what they're living on, so...
Pop your address on, dear. I'll send you a £5 in the post.
Oh, that'd be... I hope it's a crisp one.
It won't be a crisp one. Isn't it difficult to find nice £5 notes? They're always scrunched up. What's all that about? They're always scrunched up.
Scrunched up or with sellotape on, or sticky tape.
That's right. A little number.
I always go to the bank and I always ask for whatever it is, perhaps say £150 a fortnight, whatever it is, in £5 notes, and they're always absolutely spanking new.
£150? You take out money from... Oh, I can't be taking out money from the bank, dear. Oh,
well, you see,
don't, dear.
When you take out
I'm only
fivers,
15 minutes into the show
more,
here.
doesn't it?
Shut up a minute. I'm only 15 minutes into the show here. Don't start making me feel ill already. Taking money out of bank, that's against my religion. I'm a Catholic, and that is it says in the Bible, thou shalt not take money out of the bank somewhere. It says that somewhere, dear.
Well, I'll gladly take it out of your account for you.
Go away. Thanks for the call, Terry. Wonderful to hear from you.
Thanks, Chris.
Keep getting on those horses in the Huntingdon race course, this.
Well, no, I shall make sure I get on the donkeys at Blackpool.
Do you really think one of those poor little donkeys would want to carry you?
Well, I thought, I'd perhaps get on and take Travis with me.
Oh, Christ, I've got these visions of you and Ross Patzel on one donkey. It just wouldn't make it, would it? It wouldn't make it. Goodbye, Terry.
Thanks, Chris.
I'm sorry, I'm being very naughty this morning. Vicky, oh, sorry, it's not Vicky who sent the biscuits. Vicky says, I didn't send biscuits. I thought they were cans of beans. Yes, they were. Jennifer sent the biscuits. Sorry, I get confused. Jennifer in Florida. Vicky says, on the subject of the students that do the drug testing, I'm sure they had them sign a long piece of paper with really tiny print on where they gave up their rights to sue for damages. Well, yes, they probably did, but that, that's the deal, isn't it? There are risks. I certainly wouldn't go around testing drugs. I just wouldn't do it. I couldn't. I wouldn't do it. But, someone has to do these things. You have to do it. Otherwise, how are we going to know it's safe for everyone else? Good morning to mini listener Mikey Holt. Mini listener Mikey Holt is with us as well this morning. Morning, Mikey. Okay, nice to hear from you, sir. Oh, my God, it's Nicholas. It's Nicholas Pandolfi. How are you? Now, Nicholas, I have to say, we used to be on Liberty Radio together. Actually, Nicholas, what have I got here? Let me see if I've got something for you. I've got a little something for you. Is it here? 1 second. Here it is. I've got this, Nicholas, specially for you to remind you of old times, okay? Oh, yeah. There we are, a little thing from Nicholas Pandolfi. Oh, hang on, shut up, just the once. Once will do. Thank you very much, okay? Love it, thank you. All right, Nicholas, especially for you. Little bit of a concern, actually, boys and girls. I'm wondering if I have an infestation of moths somewhere in the house. Because, now you never see them doing it. Do you ever see moths doing a day? Never. Never see moths doing a day. Only butterflies. And I don't mind butterflies so much flying around my garden, landing on plants and doing their pollinations with the bees. I really don't mind. But I keep finding in my bedroom... I'm not taking you in the bedroom, no. No, it's a private place. Only very, very special people go in that bedroom. Or more likely, desperate people go in the bedroom, boys and girls. Desperate people go in that bedroom, not anyone decent. And, do you know, it's been years. It's been 3 years since someone shared my bed. Even the cat won't come up there anymore. The only things that come anywhere near my bedroom now are moths. What is going on there? And they're ugly things. They are ugly, ugly. I'm sorry, the Lord put all these lovely creatures on this planet and then moths. What's it all about, eh? And they're brown. They're horrible brown colour. And in my bedroom, 2 of the walls are white, okay? And whenever I go in there at night, when I've come home from work, now there weren't any last night. There actually weren't any on there last night. But one day there were 2, and they're big things. Oh, they're big old moths. They remind me of my sister, to be honest. They're massive things. God knows how they can stay there clinging to the wall without falling down, crashing onto the ground and making a large dent in my carpet. They're ugly, ugly things. Now, where are these moths coming from? I think Mikey Holt says, I take you just use the beds, you cheap person. What beds? What is he? What beds? I take you just use their beds, you cheap person. Whose beds? Whose beds are you talking about? That's not a bed. That was a run-up to the news, actually. That Liberty thing, it was a run-up to the news. Get it right, Mikey Holtz. Get it right. I used to do an overnight show on Liberty Radio in London, and Nicholas, who's just wrote in, he used to do the breakfast show. I wasn't good enough. And you're sort of at 2 extremes there. The breakfast show person on a normal FM station is the most important show of the day. Consequently, the overnight show that I used to do is the least most important part of the day. In fact, the programme director of most FM stations probably wouldn't even bother listening to overnight shows. Not that there are many of them around anymore, because they're all recordings. It's all a computer chucking out boring music, isn't it? Mikey says, you said no one has been in your bed. No, not for at least 3 years. How sad is that? Anyway, can we get back to the moths, please? There were 2. For one day, there were 2 of these great big moths, and they just sit on the white wall. I don't know what it is that attracts them to the white wall, but they're just there. And I'm sorry, boys and girls. Now, I don't want you to think bad of me when I share you this secret piece of information. But I'm sorry, the Hoover has to come out. And as the moth goes up, never to be seen again, it is swallowed by my long tube. The long tube is pointed at the moths and switched on, and it's gone. 2 of them. And the funny thing is, they're quite easy to catch in the Hoover. They don't seem to move. So I'm wondering, and I'm a little concerned, that there may be a moth's, what are they called? Moth's nests? Infestation of moths? Because as time has gone on, now and again, I find another moth. And it's all very, very concerning. I find another moth now and again. So where are they coming from? Now, I do have a cupboard in the in the bedroom with my clothes in it, which I incidentally went through the other day. I threw out 4 of those big black sacks of... Well, I didn't throw them out. No, I didn't throw them out, actually. No, I didn't. I took them down to the charity for the poor people. Probably Ross Patzelt will be receiving some of them, followed by Mikey Holt, Lee Mills and everyone else here on United Kingdom Radio. I am single-handedly clothing all the other presenters here on United Kingdom Radio. Some are on their way to New York, Oklahoma, Chicago. All over the world, my old clothes are going to assist poor people in their quest for a decent life. How kind am I? Eh? So I have chucked out a load of clothes. I'm thinking they're coming from there because, and I'll tell you why I say this, because if I close the doors of the cupboard and my bedroom door and I go to work and I come back, there are no moths. Okay, if I leave it slightly open, there seems to be we're not talking hundreds of moths here, but there might be one on the wall somewhere when I come in from work. So are they coming from the cupboard? Now, I have opened that cupboard and had I must admit, a quick look through the clothes, and I cannot find any eggs. I don't know what, do they lay eggs? Or they spin those, what are these things? Cocoons, aren't they? Cocoons, something like that. And I haven't found any evidence of those. On the other hand, I haven't gone through it, you know, bit by bit. Can anyone advise me on what to do about these moths? Do I need to get some sort of insecticide spray? And if so, do I need to wash all my clothes, which should take an arm and a leg? And it would the amount of electricity that will use, I won't sleep for a week if I have to do that. I'm telling you that now. Do I need to wash all the clothes? Mind you, it could be an ideal opportunity for me to go through the lot again and chuck another load out. Because there's too much there, isn't there? Eh? Don't know what to do. Anyone got any advice on moths? Then please let me know. You can join in live, of course. My Skype username is United Kingdom Radio. You can phone in 020 3287 1488. Okay, 020 3287 1488. Or, of course, you can join in by email. My email address is chris@unitedkingdomradio. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Nicholas sends us another little Facebook message and says, love it. Oh, didn't you love those old Liberty Radio jingles? They were the best jingles ever. Let me see. Oh, sorry, just a minute. Now, I just heard a text coming. I can't find the phone. Just a minute. Might be one of my guests. I might have a guest today on the phone. Oh, yes. 1 minute. Let me see if this is from one of my guests. He said he might ring in, but then again, he might not. Ah, Matt has information on the moths. Okay. Well, I tell you what. Let's give Matt a quick ring then. Just a second. Moths. Just a second now. There we are. And we'll get him up on the line to advise the rest of it. Because there might be someone else who's got a problem with moths. Now, I know Matt doesn't have the Skype, so we're going to have to ring him manually from an ordinary phone. How boring is that? Matt, 1 second. There we are. Right, just a minute now. Don't look at the numbers while I'm pressing them. Because he doesn't want dodgy... I keep getting dodgy phone calls in the middle of the night, by the way. I'll tell you about that later on. Right, let's see if we can bring this one up on the line. That's ringing, I think.
Good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me all right?
I can.
Good morning, Matt. How are you this morning? Are you in London?
I'm in London. How does it go?
What part of London are you in?
In well, it's not sunny actually. Normally it's sunny. Clapham.
Oh, Clapham. Good morning. Yes, it's one of the posh parts of London where they have the brand new cycle lane, that lovely blue paint in the middle of the road, which was completely and utterly pointless.
Well, indeed, because everybody drives down it, parks down it, and knocks all the cyclists over. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I've got to be honest, on a Sunday night and a Thursday night when I work in London, I too park... I mean, where else are you supposed to park? It's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, they've taken up so much space that nobody knows what to do now.
No.
And there's no cyclists in them.
Well, you're right about that. I can't believe how wide, just to fill people in if they're outside the UK, we've recently had some new so-called, is it cycle lane or cycle route?
Cycle superhighway.
That's it. We've got the cycle superhighway. Do you want to explain to people what this is?
Well, basically, they've divided our lovely London Mayor, Boris Johnson, who is an avid cyclist, apparently, has divided these routes. I think there's about 3 of them at the moment, and there's going to be about 7 if they take off, that supposedly make it ultra safe for cyclists to not just commute but pedal into the centre of London without fear of being knocked over, run over, or by cars, etc. But unfortunately, because the lanes are so wide and there's been no provision for the cars to go elsewhere, they end up driving in the lanes. So it's completely defeated the object.
It's just ridiculous, isn't it? So just a complete and total waste of money, that.
Well, £20 million worth of waste.
£20 million
money.
for a bit of paint. It's not bad, is it, really?
Well,
I mean,
indeed.
we could have done the job for a lot less than that, dear.
Well, I know. Mind you, they should have put an extra big one outside the two brewers, but shouldn't they, really? But never mind. That would have annoyed a certain manager of a certain said venue that we have just mentioned, darling.
Do you like the bikes? I've seen several of these like bike docking stations now, which are quite good, aren't they?
Oh, there's absolutely loads of. There's hundreds of them.
Yeah.
All around London, in some of the most obscure places that you would ever think.
Yeah.
But the problem is that. You know, you could, if you're going, because the idea with the cycle docking stations is that you pick up a bike at a given, to use it to get to, so point A, you pick up a bike to get you to point B. But you could arrive at point B, which is nowhere near a docking station. And then what do you do? Where do you put the lock for it? I'm not quite sure. I don't think you do.
The one thing that sort of came into my mind is that if you do your journey and you get to a docking station, what happens if it's full up?
Well, that was the other thing I was going to say. If the docking station is full up, where do you put it?
Yeah.
Because unless there are hundreds, and I mean hundreds of people using these bikes every day, every hour, every minute in London, then, you know, depending upon where you are cycling, you will come across a situation where there is not enough room to put your bicycle. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But, you know, in some ways, I suppose he's looked at the one in Paris and he thinks it's going to work, so we'll wait and see. Yeah. Although it's making very interesting what I would call professional cyclists on the roads of inner London with these so-called amateurs.
Of which you are one of them, dear. You're a professional cyclist. You're also a cyclist who sometimes likes to have a little drink, don't you? And then ends up fallen by the side of a road somewhere. That's happened more than once, isn't it, dear?
Do you want me to share that particular story?
I think you should, yes.
Yes, well, in the bad old days when I used to finish work on a Friday and immediately go into the West End and sort of, you know, refresh myself after hours on the road, I used to consume a large amount of alcohol and very naughtily, towards the end of the night, get on my bike and cycle home. Well, there was this one place in Stockwell, it's a roundabout, in fact, there's a new cycle lane that goes through there, but we won't talk about that. And you come up to it, and there's a set of traffic lights and a big roundabout, and there's an island in the middle. Well, I got to the lights, and I was a bit wobbly at the time, and the lights suddenly turned red. And rather than putting my foot on the floor, I just sort of leant over, and the whole bike and me collapsed into this middle island, and I was just left with my legs in the air and the bike sprawled out over the floor in a drunken haze.
And no one came to help you, did they?
And no one came and picked me up.
It reminds me... Yes, I know. You're going to say
a bit like the time when I fell down the stairs in Trade and I was at the bottom and they all just trampled right over me.
Trade was a club in London, and I went there quite a few times, and Matt went there as well. I'd have to say, one day he fell down. You had to get into this club, you had to go down these stairs. Now, the place was very, very busy, and at this point there was no air conditioning. So the floor used to get horrendously slippery. And Matt wasn't the only one who used to literally fall down the stairs. You'd go forward, and he slipped down, bang, bang, and people, they were so... they just ignored him. They just stepped over you, didn't they, Matt?
Yeah, oh yes. I mean, it was as though I wasn't there. They just thought, well, he's on the floor, I'll get up in a minute, and then just carried on doing what they were doing. But we won't talk about what they were doing, will we? But anyway,
I love it. Now, what about you? I've got someone already...
anyway, the moths, darling.
Yes, the moths, please. The moths.
Yes, well, in my experience, and I'm sure your wardrobe is the same, you have a large amount of clothes that you don't wear for a long period of time.
Correct.
And they just sit in the wardrobe and do nothing.
Yes.
well, they don't actually do nothing, because what they do is they get this musty smell that you probably can't detect yourself. But those lovely moths that are gathering in your bedroom are detecting those smells of your clothes. So what you need to do is you need to either keep moving the clothes around or have, like you say, a good sort out.
Are they setting up house in my old jeans? I do hope they're not setting up house in my old 32 waist 501s, dear.
Oh gosh, I remember those. I remember those from trade days.
Exactly.
We used to love those.
Used to wear those jeans everywhere. Isn't it funny how we've got favourite items of clothing?
I've actually still got a pair of trousers from trade.
And can you get in those?
No.
We've got some
in fact, I can hardly get into my leathers, which I wear to hard on. It's just like...
Which is another club he goes to. I haven't been to that one. Got a couple of messages coming in from people about the moths. Young Travis says, shoot them with a BB gun from Blackpool. What's a BB gun?
Ooh, I've not heard of one of those.
I don't think we all want to go there, to be honest. Vicky says, mothballs. Isn't that what you do to repel moths? Do they work, Matt? Mothball? Don't it make?
They can do. Yeah, they can do. They're just a bit unsightly, to be honest with you.
And they're smelly, aren't they?
But then, as long as nobody's going in your wardrobes, it doesn't really matter, does it?
No one's going in the wardrobes. No one's going in the bedroom, I'm afraid, dear.
Well, a bit like me, love. Don't worry about it.
Dear me. Mikey Holt says, the moths in your room come from the fact that it's the only place you open your wallet to count your money. There's no money in this house, dear. It's all buried. It's all buried.
Dirty.
Yeah. Oh, I keep mine buried, and it's somewhere where no one would ever dream of looking.
Mind you, I did just put that in my email. So
I've buried my money in a cemetery with some dead bodies. Who else is ever going to dig those up? Mikey says, could you please put me on with Mr. Matt? It's not Mikey. No, I don't do 3 calls at a time, I'm afraid. Okay, 1 call at a time, Mikey. We can't be concentrating on more. My mind doesn't go to concentrating for more than 1 person at a time. However, when Matt has finished on the phone, then you can talk to me live after that if you wish. We're not joining up everyone on the line. Anyway, Matt, are you working today? You've got a bad back, haven't you?
Well, yeah, the back's getting better. Although I was on writing duty down in Brighton.
Oh yes, because for those of you that don't know, Matt actually writes reviews for clubs and DJs, and also a little bit of music reviewing. Now you're doing, aren't you?
Oh yes, quite a lot of music reviewing actually.
Yeah. So,
but anyway, yeah. So I was on duty in Brighton, and bizarrely, whilst I'm not really known that well down there, or so I thought. Not only were so many people coming up to say hello to me, but I got all this lovely VIP royal treatment that I seem to get in London all the time now.
You got it down there as well?
Yeah, what's got to do with down there as well?
I've got an idea for you. How about, and this is going to get you some free holidays, hotel reviews.
Oh, hotel reviews. Well, that could come.
You could be the hotel inspector. Yes.
Yes, that's an idea. Well, I actually have, and I actually have a couple of free trips coming up. One in September and one in October. First one's in Paris, and the second one's in Berlin. So,
oh, how lovely!
So it's all taking shape. But yes, I was quite surprised about my royal treatment in Brighton.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen the reviews yet, so that might all change.
Well, I look forward to seeing that. Mikey Holt, young mini Mikey, says, someone from the Metropolitan Police is round my house and wishes to speak to Matt about a drunk biking incident.
Well, they wouldn't recognise me now. I'm a reformed character.
A reformed character? Is that illegal, drinking and cycling?
Well,
we don't
not illegal per se, but they can arrest you.
Yeah.
They can arrest you, but it's very, very rare that they do. They can't charge you because unless you obviously cause damage to somebody else.
Yes, of course.
If you're only causing damage to yourself, then no, they can't really do that much.
But
I'm a reformed character. I don't do that anymore.
Good, but you're off. It's the cider that does the damage to you. It's always. Oh, we've lost him. Where's he gone now? Just a minute now. Sorry, we're just. Do you know what? This phone's just died. Oh, this phone has died completely. How strange is that? Nothing. There's nothing. Dead as anything. Has the electric gone off? God's sake. Hello? Well, that's weird. I must ring up and apologise, because that's the phone. We've got no telephones now. Oh, this is terrible. Look how that suddenly happened like that. Why has this gone off? Just a minute now. Just a second. We'll try this. Completely dead. Phone's gone completely dead. With you in a second. Just a minute. Let me just apologise to our callee. Callee? Would you call it a callee? Nothing on here either. Oh. Straight to answer phone. I wonder if it was at his end then. That's very strange. Very strange. 1 minute. I'll leave a message. Oh, dear. Hello, it's only me. You were cut off then, and my phone has gone dead. So I must apologise. My telephone system that goes into the show is completely dead. So something's gone wrong there. Sorry about that, but thank you for the call. Thanks for calling. Bye-bye, caller. There we are. It was very interesting to find out about bike. Anyone else fallen off a bike in a certain way? Matt says, Mikey says I should buy a new telephone and pay the bill and then shove 50 pence in the meter. I don't know. Pay as you go, dear. Not in this house, we don't. Pay as you go. Vicky says, check your window screens for holes. I used to live on top of a hill, and at night with the lights on, they would come, moths, from miles away and beat their wings on the window screens to try and get into the house. Is it like that? Beating their wings on the... Oh, it's all very scary. She wants to know, how are the twins doing? Yes, one of my best friend, Ron, has had twins, and he has texted also this morning, just a second ago. That was the text coming in that you heard. I was hoping to have him on the phone today. He says, I can't call, dear, sorry. Tell my millions of fans no can do today with an update of my fabulous life, as I'm having issues with his software. Yeah. Now, I have to tell you, Ron is one of those people with an Apple Mac. Oh, yes, so superior, aren't they? People with Apple Macs do think they're superior to everyone else, and he's having terrible trouble with his software this morning, so I'm kind of quite pleased about that. I don't wish to make that sound evil or not. You know, I do feel quite pleased that someone is having issues with his Apple Mac. Nicholas says the Bishop says hi. Is he still around? That we had the Liberty Radio where I and Nicholas worked. Was taken over by a religious organisation. I can't remember what they were now, but yeah, they were. It only lasted about another year, and then the whole thing closed down, unfortunately. And he was the bishop. The story is actually quite funny, but we can't go on about that. Let's have a look. We just spoke to Matt. One more. Moths, apparently. Nicholas says, moths hate conkers. Well, we haven't got any yet, have we? It's a bit early for conkers. Leave conkers by your window and the conkers dry. They give out a gas that moths hate. Well, I think there's enough gas coming out my bum at night. I've had terrible trouble with wind recently. What's all that about? Oh, it's awful. Awful. Thank you, Matt. Nicholas, rather. And Darlene, who's on Norfolk Island in Australia, says a very good morning to you as well. Thank you very much, Darlene. Nice to hear you. I'm hoping that at some point Darlene is going to do a show here. She lives on a beautiful little place called Norfolk Island in the South Pacific. I mean, it's a stunning, stunning place, and I was there last January, hoping to go again next January. But unfortunately, their bandwidth isn't very fast there yet, so we can't do that yet. Okie doke. Some emails coming in throughout the week from people that have been listening to the recordings of the show. Don't forget if you ever miss a show or you want to listen to any of the old ones or you're away or how can I catch up? Very easy. The main website for this particular show is at www.unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. All right, once again, unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. And then you can always join in any of the other shows. You see something that takes your interest, then just simply write an email. Doesn't matter how old the show is, okay? Right. To the emails then. Hello to Jennifer. Now, Jennifer's the one who sent in all those lovely biscuits that I've been scoffing my face with. We did start this email off on the last show, but I'll read it again. It was only 3 lines. Hi, Chris. How are you? I'm doing good. I'll be heading out to Oklahoma again this Thursday. My husband on August the 12th. My husband is moving into town. Yeah, because they live apart. No, they haven't had a row. They just live, it's the way things are. One works there, one works there. I'll be able to watch your shows now without any trouble. Unfortunately, during this trip, I'll be doing most of the work since my husband is down to one arm because of his shoulder surgery about a month ago. I bet that was painful, weren't it? Oh, dear. And I have had trouble with my knees before. You're sort of on the side of your knee when I used to go jogging, which is... Blimey, it's 2 years ago since I used to go jogging. I used to go jogging a lot, but I was getting terrible trouble with my knees. Jennifer says, I wanted to ask you a question. Have you ever been at a place of employment where you bring in your lunch or dinner and stick it in the fridge and then someone eats it before you do? No, fortunately, I don't think I have. But I have actually been in fridges at places of work and eaten someone else's dinner. No, not so much a dinner, but if there's a Kit Kat or something like that, I just might break off a little piece and have it myself. Has anyone had my Kit Kat? No, I haven't touched a Kit Kat. No, has anyone had this Kit Kat? And I've actually had it. It's very naughty of me, isn't it? I find it very, very hard. The devil puts these temptations in front of my face, and I find it hard to resist. I really do. Tina, a co-worker, and I bring in our lunch and sometimes bring in enough for a week. Say a package of deli meat and cheese and bread. Well, she's been noticing her food slowly disappearing. We've just got a text here from Matt that says, temporary malfunction my end. Think Brent Nichols interrupted our transmission. Must call him. Am I excused or shall I wait? No, you are excused, Matt. Are you sure it was you? Because my phone's... Oh, I know when my phone's dead. 1 minute. Oh, that's I had another button pushed. So it was Matt's end, not mine. Thank you, Matt. Where are we now? Let's read this bit again. Tina, a co-worker, and I bring in our lunch, and sometimes we bring in enough for a week. Do you bring in a lot of food? I'm a bit like that myself. Say a package of deli meat and cheese and bread. Well, she's been noticing her food slowly disappearing. I noticed my stuff disappearing this week. Monday, I bought in a sandwich. I took a bite and then decided to eat the French fries David bought me in instead. Oh, how can you have sandwiches and chips at the same time? That's not nice. Although here in the UK, chip butty is a very nice delicacy. Have you ever had a chip butty? I don't think it's going to be quite the same with French fries, but you can try it. You get 2 pieces of bread, okay? Butter them both sides, and then, no, obviously not, butter them both in the middle, and then put your French fries in there, complete with your tomato sauce or anything else that you might want on there, and eat. Oh, delicious. I mean, better with proper, thick English chips. Does anyone in America make proper chips? Eh? Do you make proper chips? Or do you buy these awful frozen things? You must do them yourself. Get some potatoes and cut them into... They're so much nicer. They really are. And it's getting a blooming hard job. I mean, one of the chip shops in Bracknell here, I had some chips off them the other day, and I was so disappointed because they'd obviously come out of a plastic bag, someone had split the bag, and they do not taste the same. I'm sorry, they don't. Mikey Holt says, it proves you're a chav if you eat chip butties. Well, perhaps I am. But I'm not dressed. I've got a lovely green shirt on today, Mikey. Thank you very much. Now, Jennifer goes on to say, I therefore put my sandwich back in the fridge and would eat it on Tuesday. Oh, that's not good. No, you've got to eat these things the same day. They start going off, dear. Although, hark at me, I made that casserole the other day, didn't I? With meat that was 18 months old. But it had been in the freezer. Also, I had another bit of it last night, actually. Very tasty indeed, yes. She says, mind you, I already took a bite. Well, Tuesday, I went for my sandwich at lunchtime and it was gone. Shock horror. It's gone. Someone has stolen her sandwich. It's outrageous if you ask me. Absolutely outrageous. Oh my God. Good news. Ronnie has sent in a picture of his cat. Now, I'm going to hold it up. Let me just check there's no numbers on it. I'm going to hold it up. Those of you that are lucky enough to be able to watch the show, I've actually got two cameras in front of me here. So if you're watching the show, YouTube, and now if you're watching the show live, there is a picture of one of Ronnie's lovely little twin cats, and there's a boy and a girl. I'm not sure which one that is. Did I tell you he's got the names for them now? He's called them, because he is stuck up, he's called them D and G after Dolce & Gabbana, the most gorgeous cats you have ever seen in your entire life. They really are beautiful, beautiful cats. And those of you listening to the show, let me just describe. It's a little ginger thing. And it is so cute. Vicky, I do hope you can see that cat, darling. I really hope... Oh, she can. Yeah, she's watching the show live. She can see. That is beautiful. Oh, there's another picture. Another picture, Vicky. Just a minute. Another picture. Okay. Holding the picture of the cat there. Beautiful little cats. I wonder if this is D or G. D and G, Dolce & Gabbana. I'm not sure which is which, and she's playing with a little... Is it like a ball, like one of those airflow balls, you know? Probably got a bell in it as well. Beautiful, beautiful, quick, gorgeous cat. I don't think we won't get running on. Oh, blimey, look at the time. Have I been talking for that long? Doesn't it go quickly? I'm sure I could do a 5-hour overnight show at some point. We'll do that one week. She says, my once bitten sandwich was taken. Who does that? So someone had nicked her sandwich, which already had a bite out of the side of it. She says, not just to take a sandwich, but one that has already had my hands up all over it as well as my mouth. I was shocked. Tina was beside herself. I came up with a plan. I was going to make a nasty sandwich as bait. Well, you're not putting rat poison in there, are you? Or you'll get nicked for that, dear. Do be careful, Jennifer. I thought of peeing in the mayonnaise and mixing it up. Then I thought, chicken poo. I'd mix fresh gooey chicken poo in the mayonnaise. However, David brought it to my attention that whoever could get it could get salmonella and die. Well, I don't want to kill anyone, but I do want to make them sick. What I ended up doing was mixing 4 tablets of laxatives and dissolving it in the mayonnaise. You'll get done, you know. Do be careful, dear. You can't do this. And to top it off, you mentioned a few shows back about old food. Yes, the old food I found in my freezer. My mother had a small jar of mayonnaise that was in the back, and it had expired on October the 12th, 2009, so I used that. Thursday morning, I planted the bait, and this morning, Friday, the sandwich was gone. Oh. Tina, David and Lucky Charms and I were just amazed that that happened. Fortunately, we have surveillance on the area the fridge is in and caught the culprit. It's one of our elf drivers. They come in between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. to start their route for the day. So apparently he had my laxative old mayonnaise sandwich for breakfast. We've spoken to him several times a day, not saying anything about it, and he sounds fine, at least he does now. I can't wait for him to come in and see how he looks. I wonder if he actually ate the whole thing. I don't know how it tasted with old mayonnaise. We won't be saying anything to him when he comes in, but rather call him into the office on Tuesday and discuss his sandwich stealing antic. I think it's outrageous. I really do. I would not. I absolutely would not steal someone else's sandwiches from a fridge. I have been known to nick the odd chocolate. You know, if there's like a little bowl of chocolates or something like that in there, I've had one of those, but not that. Jennifer goes on to say, you were talking about cuddling sheep. I used to volunteer at a farm place that catered to orphan children, and we had sheep. Her name was Lollipop the sheep, or Lolly for short. She just loved people and always wanted to be around you. Although I'm sure it was just for any food that might have spilled out of the horse feed buckets. She was bone thin when we got her, but put on a good bit of weight and developed food rot in her hoof. Oh, I don't know what... Foot rot in her hoof. I've not heard of that before. I always noticed her limp, but then decided to investigate. She never gave me any problem in manhandling her, and when I checked out her foot, I nearly vomited. She had maggots and worms crawling around inside her hoof. Oh, poor old thing, dear. They had eaten the inside of her hoof and were now eating through the meat of her leg, where the hoof met. Unfortunately, we had to put her down because the vet said it would never heal and only get worse. Anyway, that was yummy yuck. Oh, dear, dear me. Poor thing. Jennifer also has a couple of names for the twins, which have now been named D&G. So, Frick and Frack. I quite like that, Frick and Frack, for a couple of cats, don't you? Thing 1 and Thing 2. And also Sonny and Cher. She says, being that they are ginger kittens, does that mean they are of an orange colour? Yes, it does. How about Dorito and Cheeto? So good names that was suggested there. Well, it must go now. The sandwich thief is due in soon. And that's from Jennifer. Jennifer, you must let us know if your sandwich thief was ill. We want to know that, okay? Let us know. The email address to the show, once again, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Vicky says, how about a picture of Chris in between the bread and cold cuts? May be effective and less liable to get you arrested. Yeah, there's an idea. What you could do, make the sandwich. Okay, if you're going to do this again, make a sandwich, but don't put anything dodgy in it. But put in there a picture of me. Okay, make it slightly smaller than the bread so that it doesn't stick out the sides. And then when someone bites into it, because they're unlikely to look, are they? They're not going to look. When they bite into it, they realise there's paper, and then they'll remove it. And there'll be a picture of me with a little message, something like, don't steal my sandwiches, as the message. Do you like that idea? Just a suggestion. Just a suggestion. So get a little, couple of bits of bread, put your food in there, and that's it. Robert in Iceland, who's with us. Is he with us live? Just a second. Oh, no, I don't think he's with us live this morning. But he's sent in an email. He's recently been to Disney in Paris. Okay? And he actually preferred the Disney's Paris to the Disney in Florida, which I find surprising. I find that surprising. Now, I've been very, very lucky to have gone to both several times, actually. I've been to the one in Florida 3 times and the one in France, I think, 3 or 4 times. And I by far prefer the one in Orlando. However, Robert prefers the one in Paris, and there is a couple of emails from him, which will come up in the next show, along with also a little sound. Someone's taken the time and trouble, Wayne, regular correspondent to the show, who writes, "Hi Chris, rather than write a long email, I've recorded a childhood story in MP3 for you. Should make you chuckle. So we'll play that out on the next show. Okay, boys and girls? If you are watching a recording of this, you can watch or listen to the show live now on on Tuesday and Thursday mornings at 11 o'clock UK time. And you can find that at unitedkingdomradio.co.uk, all right? Once again, you can watch or listen to the show live on Tuesday and Thursday mornings at 11 o'clock UK time, and also on Saturday afternoons at 3 o'clock UK time. And to find that, go to unitedkingdomradio.co.uk. You write unitedkingdomradio.co.uk. All right? The email address to the show, join in at any time, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I'll see you again on Thursday morning at 11 o'clock. Have a good day. Bye-bye.